Hello, it is 8 a.m. local time and you're tuning into VTV News Live. In the following, we'll take a look at the headlines at this hour. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs holds its regular press conference. Ho Chi Minh City leaders assure foreign enterprises of security. And later on, we'll have a look at the Nguyen Dynasty documents that prove Vietnam's sovereignty. We'll now begin with the top news here in the country. At a press conference yesterday on Thursday, Nguyễn Văn Trung, deputy head of the Vietnam Fishery Control Department, said that China had increased the amount of vessels protecting its illegal oil rig to 99. Now, China will not permit any ship to approach within a 5 to 6 nautical mile radius from the Hải Dương 981 oil rig, which lies within Vietnam's exclusive economic zone and continental shelf. According to VTV correspondents, despite the tense situation, Vietnamese fishing ships are still working in their legitimate fishing ground with support from the Vietnam Coast Guard, operating as close as 10 nautical miles from the Chinese oil rig. Communications with fishermen state that the fishermen do not consider China's marine restriction to be valid. Now, at a regular press conference also on Thursday, Ministry of Foreign Affairs spokesperson Lê Hải Bình stressed that Vietnam would do its utmost to guarantee the security of foreign investors and their capital in response to recent disruptive marches opposing China's illegal installation of the oil rig Hải Dương 981.
According to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Vietnam is consistently holding dialogues with China to oppose its recent behavior. In particular, the installation of the Hải Dương 981 oil rig in Vietnam's territorial waters. However, China has persistently maintained and even expanded its misconduct by sending more vessels and aircrafts to the area.
According to Vietnamese authorities, China still has many military vessels, maritime civilian ships, and military aircrafts protecting the Hải Dương 918 oil rig. Vietnam has exercised extreme restraint despite the aggressive actions on China's side, which has prevented Vietnam from taking actions to protect its sovereign rights.
According to the spokesperson, Vietnam has firmly requested China to remove their oil rig from Vietnamese territorial waters. He also stated that Vietnam would like to thank other countries, organizations and individuals around the world who have voiced their support for Vietnam. When asked if China's action hinders the two countries' cooperation and trade exchange, Lê Hải Bình confirmed that trading activities are still taking place as usual.
As always, Vietnam values its strategic partnership and friendship with China, and Vietnam is trying to maintain normal cooperation for the benefit of the two countries. As far as I'm aware, all trading activities are still occurring as usual.
Regarding the aggressive marches against Chinese and Taiwanese enterprises, Bình affirmed that Vietnamese authorities had immediately dealt with the situation and had strictly punished those who committed these aggressive crimes.
The acts of vandalism were caused by a few agitated individuals. The Vietnamese government and Vietnamese people strongly condemn such acts. We will use all necessary measures to ensure the safety of the people and guarantee the rights and benefits of enterprises, including Taiwanese enterprises, throughout the whole country.
Spokesperson Lê Hải Bình also stressed that Vietnamese people are very patriotic regardless of where they are. It is normal for them to express their concerns over the country's sovereign rights. However, any action must take place within the framework of the law.
On Thursday morning, in a message sent to official authorities, Prime Minister Nguyễn Tấn Dũng said that people across the country have indicated their patriotism by opposing China's installation of the illegal oil rig in Vietnam's waters. Now, while non-violent opposition is a legitimate act in some localities, a number of extremists have sabotaged properties of foreign investors and resisted law enforcement forces. Prime Minister Dũng said that such actions must strictly be punished by the law. The Prime Minister asked the Ministry of Public Security and relevant agencies to prevent and penalize similar unlawful actions. He also asked the relevant forces to ensure the absolute safety of lives and properties so that enterprises in affected areas could resume normal operations. The Prime Minister further affirmed that Vietnam always does its best in order to create favorable conditions for foreign businesses and agencies in Vietnam in accordance with the law. Moving now on to other news, Chairman of the Ho Chi Minh City People's Committee, Lê Hoàng Quân, met with the associations of foreign enterprises and consul representatives from the southern region on Thursday. At the meeting, which was held in response to the recent vandalism of foreign businesses, the chairman stated that Vietnamese authorities have never tolerated aggressive acts that threaten the safety of security here in the country.
At the meeting with consul representatives from Singapore, Japan, the Republic of Korea, Thailand, China, India and Malaysia, countries which have a large number of enterprises operating in Ho Chi Minh City, Quân confirmed that the recent chaos was conducted by subversive elements who took advantage of peaceful marches opposing China's illegal oil rig in Vietnam's territorial waters. This aggressive provocation, which has damaged the property of foreign enterprises and psychologically affected them, is a violation of law and will be strictly dealt with.
We assert that we will never shield and tolerate the extremists who have caused this chaos affecting foreign enterprises. We know that the foreign investors now feel unsafe. The Vietnamese government and the authorities of Ho Chi Minh City will bring this matter to light and never confuse the issues of politics and economics.
Speaking at the meeting, the representatives of the consuls valued the prompt response of the local authorities. However, representatives from the consuls of the Republic of Korea, Malaysia and Japan requested that the local authorities consider appropriate remuneration for damages the enterprises have suffered. Prior to this request, Ho Chi Minh City's authorities confirmed that they will send a direct report to the government to ask for support in terms of tax for the affected enterprises.
We will order the relevant authorities and the management boards of industrial zones to check the damage and have supporting policies for the affected enterprises.
On the same day, the local authorities of Ho Chi Minh City also had a meeting with the Association of Foreign Enterprises in the area of the city. The local authorities confirmed that they would do their best to protect foreign enterprises.
Along the same news line, on Thursday, police in Hà Tĩnh province arrested 76 people involved in looting and damaging property at the Formosa company in Vũng Áng economic zone. These people were also involved in a serious fight at the scene. The provincial public security will pursue criminal proceedings according to the local commission for popularization and education.
The incident happened on the morning of May the 14th. There were around 40 people gathered in front of the Hưng Nghiệp Formosa Steel Company, shouting to oppose the illegal installation of the Chinese oil rig in Vietnam's territorial waters. The crowd grew bigger towards evening time, and finally a fight erupted between groups of Vietnamese and Chinese workers. Several people were injured and a man died during the fight. The relevant authorities arrived at the scene and brought the situation under control by midnight. Currently, they are working with the company investor to assess the initial damage. According to the law enforcement authorities, one of the reasons for the altercation was a minor disagreement between Vietnamese and foreign workers at the company. However, it escalated into a melee due to provocation from some extremists.
With the documents and evidence we have collected so far, we've directed the provincial investigation body to conduct criminal proceedings according to the law. We've arrested 76 subjects involved in this case. The leaders of the province have said that this is a serious matter that needs to be dealt with immediately. We've had the injured taken care of at hospitals and are currently trying to find out the identity of the dead man. The provincial committee of the party will conduct the criminal proceedings of the case. Also, we've worked with the investor in order to resume the operation of the company.
Also, at the press conference held on Thursday, the local authorities of Hà confirmed that they will deploy all relevant forces in order to protect the safety of both domestic and foreign experts and workers, as well as the property of the company.
Back here on VTV News, a White House spokesman, Jay Carney, said at his daily news briefing on Wednesday that although the United States is not party to the EC dispute, President Barack Obama on his recent Asian tour repeatedly stressed the need for peaceful dialogue on various disputes involving China and the EC, and that EC disputes need to be resolved through dialogue, not intimidation.
And our view has always been that these are disputes that need to be resolved through dialogue, not through intimidation. We are not a party to the specific disputes, but we again urge dialogue in their resolution, and that would apply in this case. Another milestone that's being
on May the 2nd, China stationed the Haiyang Shuyo 981 oil rig 80 nautical miles deep inside Vietnam's exclusive economic zone. Besides, it has deployed a large number of ships of various kinds to the area and have repeatedly rammed and fired water cannons into Vietnamese Coast Guard and fisheries surveillance ships.
Now, scholars have also raised their concern over China's activities in the EC. VTV correspondents in the United States recently interviewed Martin Ott on this issue. He's currently a professor at the Johns Hopkins University and senior scholar at the Woodrow Wilson International Center for Scholars.
How do you think about the situation in the South China Sea after China's sending its oil rigs and vessels to Vietnam's EEZs?
The first thing I would say is that it's very predictable. The determination on the part of China to establish control over land and water features in the South China Sea has, from my perspective, been very clear. So the last major incident was with the Philippines at Scarborough Shoals. This is a different kind of initiative, but it's part of the same pattern, and this involves Vietnam, not the Philippines. The next incident like this, could be any one of a number of countries, but probably will be either Vietnam or the Philippines.
China has argued that its oil rig and its vessels are operating in its own water. Meanwhile, international lawyers confirmed that China does not have any right and any reason to introduce its oil rig together with its vessels to Vietnam's EEZ. And how do you think about that?
The Chinese think they have a reason. The Chinese believe all of this belongs to China. So that's all the reason they need. What you're referring to is the judgment of almost every outside legal expert that the 9-dash line that I referred to earlier has no legal standing under international law. That's why what the Philippines is doing is very, I'll say clever, very intelligent and significant, because the Philippines is the only country that has actually found a way and has taken the initiative to challenge the Chinese 9-dash line in an international tribunal. That, because, and they've also said they will pay no attention to, but they clearly are paying attention because they know that an international ruling will expose the complete, the lack of legal support that actually exists under international law for the Chinese position. And the Chinese don't want that to happen.
Thank you very much for joining us in this interview.
At a press conference in Hanoi on Wednesday, Rear Admiral Pascal Lesueur emphasized that stability in the East Sea would contribute to prosperity and security for the world. The Rear Admiral said that the European Commission has issued a statement expressing its concern over China's recent actions in the East Sea. As one of the countries that drafted the statement, France stressed the importance of respecting international law, particularly the 1982 United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. The Rear Admiral noted that most of France's trading comes from Asia, much of which goes through the East Sea. Therefore, instability in the region will have considerable economic and safety impacts on France. He also said that as the world's second largest navy, France is ready to exchange knowledge and technology with the Vietnamese army for as long as is necessary. The Japanese Communist Party has issued a statement on the ongoing dispute in the East Sea, stating the party's view on the situation. The party believes China's placement of the Haiyang Shuyou 981 oil rig within the exclusive economic zone of Vietnam is in violation of the Declaration on the Conduct of Parties in the East Sea, or DOC, that China signed with ASEAN countries in 2002. Party members cited 5 articles from the DOC which require parties to refrain from activities that can escalate tension and affect peace and stability in the region. They further stressed that all involved parties should strictly abide by the DOC. On Thursday, Vietnamese students from universities in Bangkok of Thailand marched to the Chinese embassy there in order to oppose China's installation of the oil rig in Vietnam's exclusive economic zone and continental shelf. The group carried a petition presenting evidence that proved China's actions violated international law. The petition requested China remove the oil rig out of Vietnamese territorial waters, exclusive economic zone, and continental shelf, and terminate all similar acts. A representative of the Chinese embassy was at the scene but did not come out to receive the petition. The petition contained 150 signatures of Vietnamese students and their international friends. It was then given to a representative of the Thai police. Coming up here on our live edition of VTV News, National Assembly Standing Committee convenes its 28th meeting. And later on, we'll have a look at the Nguyen Dynasty documents that prove Vietnam's sovereignty. Do stay tuned.
Exotic Vietnam is an intriguing blend of many charms. This land is where all manner of stunning landscapes await like a visual feast, rivaled only by the beauty of its people and their abundantly rich tradition and culture. Here is where you can relive the past in richest color or live it up in the bright lights of the big city. With so much more to offer, Vietnam is simply unforgettable.
You're back here on our edition of VTV News Live. The National Assembly Standing Committee is convening its 28th meeting in Hanoi from Thursday to Saturday to prepare for the upcoming session of the 13th National Assembly. Following the opening ceremony, delegates commented on the government's supplementary report, which concerns the implementation of the 2013 socio-economic development and state budget plans. They also reviewed the country's performance since the beginning of 2014. Reports show that Vietnam reached or surpassed 12 out of the 15 development goals set for the last year. The results came with a stable macroeconomy, lower inflation, and higher growth rate compared to 2012. Nevertheless, committee members also pointed out many shortcomings. They urged policymakers to improve the livelihood of workers, lower the poverty rate, and increase support for people living in mountainous areas. The opening ceremony of the Second General Assembly of the Presbyterian Church of Vietnam took place in Ho Chi Minh City on Thursday. More than 200 delegates attended the ceremony. During the two-day event, the Presbyterian Church of Vietnam will review its plan for the next 4 years. Now, the church currently has more than 17,000 followers in 22 provinces and cities throughout Vietnam, but mostly in Lâm Đồng, Quảng Ngãi, Đắk Lắk, Kon Tum, and Hà Giang provinces. The Second General Assembly will last until May 16th. A collection of royal documents from the Nguyen dynasty has officially been recognized as a heritage document by UNESCO's Memory of the World Committee for Asia Pacific. Notably, the collection includes 21 documents with proof of Vietnam's sovereignty over the Spratly and Paracel archipelagos.
The Nguyen dynasty royal documents are some of the best preserved administrative documents from Vietnam's feudal history. Historian Phan Thuận An from her city personally donated 2 documents to the UNESCO collection. Both historical documents indicate that the Spratly and Paracel archipelagos belong to Vietnam.
I was very happy to learn that the Nguyen dynasty documents have been recognized as a heritage artifact by UNESCO. This international certification has reaffirmed that Spratly and Paracel archipelagos are Vietnamese territories.
These 2 documents from the Royal Court of King Bảo Đại date back to the year 1939. The papers state that King Bảo Đại approved the award of a medal to Frenchman Louis Fontaine and his guard team who was stationed on Vietnam's Paracel Islands under the Nguyen dynasty during the period. According to her lawyer, Đặng Thị Ngọc Hạnh, the UNESCO recognition of the documents provides a boost to Vietnam's fight for its rights on the East Sea. In a way, the legal validity of the documents has now been recognized internationally. Vietnam has exercised its sovereignty over the Hoàng Sa or Paracel Islands since at least the beginning of the 19th century, as proven by Western atlases and Vietnamese documents. Along with international agreements like the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, these historical documents are convincing arguments for Vietnam's rightful sovereignty over its islands in the East Sea.
Quảng Nam province will hold a series of activities, including a film month in August, to commemorate the 15th anniversary of UNESCO's recognition of the My Sơn Sanctuary as a World Heritage Site. The organizers are wrapping up their preparations with the help of the Quảng Nam Broadcast Center. During the month, screenings of a documentary on My Sơn will take place at the sanctuary and selected locations across the province. Other activities include a drawing contest, a photo exhibition, a conference, and the release of a book on the conservation of the My Sơn World Heritage Site. And now we'll take a look at the online news about Vietnam.
Burma offers the first news for today. Vietnam and Japan will step up cooperation in wage policy, labor relations, vocational training, social and unemployment insurance, and social welfare for the elderly. To this effect, an agreement was signed between visiting Vietnamese Deputy Minister of Labor, War Invalids and Social Affairs, Nguyễn Thanh Hoa, and Japanese Minister of Health and Labor, Tamura Noriyasa, in Tokyo on Tuesday. The Japanese minister will closely cooperate with other Japanese agencies such as the Japan International Cooperation Agency, or JICA,
to promote affiliation with the Vietnamese side. According to VOV Voice of Vietnam, Azerbaijan President Aliyev will pay an official visit to Vietnam from the 18th to the 20th of May at the invitation of President Trương Tấn Sang. President Aliyev will be accompanied by around 50 leading economic companies that want to explore the Vietnamese market. A Vietnam-Azerbaijan business forum will be held in Hanoi on May 19th, offering the two business communities the chance to meet and discuss the possibility of cooperation. Vietnam and Azerbaijan established diplomatic ties in 1992. Azerbaijan opened its embassy in Hanoi in late 2013 to seek ways to boost bilateral cooperation in politics, economics, culture, education, and tourism, among others. According to Vietnamnet Bridge, a 15-minute film by Vietnamese director Hoàng Trần Minh Đức will be screened to compete at the Cannes Film Festival Short Film Corner event held from May 14 to the 24th. The film, titled Tôi 30 or I'm 30, based on the script of Trần Ngọc Sang, depicts the changes a woman undergoes while approaching 30 years of age. The heroine dreams of becoming a film director, but she cannot realize that dream due to various reasons. At 30, she wonders whether she should take up another career. The film offers an open end.
Vietnam and Thailand aims to bring bilateral trade value to $15 billion by 2020. The target was announced at an exchange between Vietnamese and Thai businesses in Ho Chi Minh City on May the 14th. The event provided a good opportunities for the two business communities to meet, establish long-term cooperation, and explore new potential. The gathering helped businesses raise competitive edge on international markets by sharing production experience to meet the increasing demand of global importers. Two-way trade turnover between the two countries rose 9% to $9.4 billion last year. Vietnam has so far invested in 8 projects in Thailand worth more than $12 million. Vietnam television VTV has officially won broadcast rights for the World Cup 2014 at the price of $7 million. The MP and Silva Agency, the exclusive sales representative for the World Cup 2014 media rights in Vietnam, had offered a $10 million deal, but that was out of the price range of many broadcasters who refused to pay that amount. After months of negotiations, VTV agreed to pay $7 million for the exclusive rights to broadcast and exploit World Cup 2014. VTV also hosts the exclusive rights to radio and internet broadcast. Even though MP and Silva lowered the price, it is still the highest amount paid for a World Cup broadcast in Vietnam. The World Cup 2010 was bought at $3 million and Euro 2012 cost $4 million.
In the following now, we'll take a look at your updated weather forecasts. And that wraps up this edition of VTV News. Do log on to vtv4.vn for more updated news. We'll be back here again at 3 p.m. local time for another bulletin. Thank you and see you in a bit.